Well, the battle over the transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein case is heating up. Last night, a House committee released more than 33,000 pages of Justice Department files, flight logs, detention footage, and court records. But critics say most of it was already public, and the push for full disclosure is still stuck in Congress. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr. And Alice, this has become a bipartisan call on the Justice Department to release all files, but the White House says there's nothing new here.
Yeah, and this has been kind of the state of play for some time now. There are some particularly loud voices on Capitol Hill who went home to their districts and, had a summer break and promised before they left that they were not going to let this go when they came back. Now they're back. They're not letting it go. So particularly Thomas Massie, who's a Republican, he is sort of co-leading a push with a Democrat, Ro Khanna. These two congressmen have put together a discharge petition, which is something aimed at forcing a vote on the House floor that would then try to force the Justice Department to release the full Epstein files. As you noted, the Department of Justice has said that there's nothing in those files that is new and that it's not worth, releasing them all. But that has not satisfied a lot of people who want more information. We have heard from the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, Republican, that he doesn't think that discharge petition is necessary, that the Department of Justice and now the House Oversight Committee are working together to try to provide information. As you noted, more than 30,000 pages of the Epstein files have now been released. They were subpoenaed by that Oversight Committee from the Justice Department. But again, it's not new. So this has been kind of the same rallying call. Give us new information, give us new information. And there's little drips of things that are not new information. And so far, the calls are not meeting, are not being met by what they're looking for in terms of what is being released. Yeah,
we're also hearing from some of the survivors as well as some of the family members of the women who say they were abused by Epstein. What do they have to share?
This is really powerful stuff. A group of 9 survivors or relatives of women who say they were abused by Jeffrey Epstein sat down for an exclusive interview with NBC News' Hallie Jackson, and they just spoke about how much they feel like they have been sidelined throughout this political fight over the Epstein files. They're working to recenter their voices, these survivors who have bravely spoken out about what they went through when they were very young, some of them speaking about having encountered Epstein when they were 14 years old and going through sexual abuse, starting from that time. So it is important to remember what we're talking about aside from the political fight, the very, very serious damage that occurred to a lot of children, young girls at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein and also Ghislaine Maxwell. And they had, a lot of words for both of them. She's the convicted co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in prison. So she's the one who has been sentenced, and they want to make sure that she does not get a pardon. They've said they want President Trump to rule that out. They've said they want to see more files released, and they've said they want the Department of Justice to reopen the case and finally bring accountability they feel like is still lacking.
Yeah, you mentioned Maxwell. She was questioned behind closed doors from a top Justice Department official. Did she say anything that would change anything here?
She really didn't, and that's something that the survivors are frustrated about too. They feel like she had an opportunity to try to clear her name. She denied any wrongdoing, denied any knowledge of the sex trafficking, but she didn't provide anything new. And afterwards, after those conversations with the top Justice Department official, she was moved to a lower security prison camp. And again, that's something that those survivors did not like. The White House has said President Trump is not actively considering a pardon for her, but he has not publicly ruled it out.
Got it. All right, Alice Barr, thanks so much for your insight.